Hello. I'm making a video instead of going live because, um, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't have enough time to interact, and I did want to cover this topic that just came up today. Um, so, first, I would want you to know that my service dog, Finnegan, hurt his leg Saturday, came in from outside, was limping, and and fortunately we had some doggy non-steroidal inflammatory anti-inflammatory meds from a dog we had that passed away, um, and was able to give him some of that Saturday and Sunday. And I know what I'm doing. I didn't just randomly give him medication. From working at the animal shelter, we had to do that all the time. And anyway, took him to the vet today, and um, vet called and said, "Can we go ahead and X-ray?" 'Cause she said, "Drop him off, and I'll look at him when I can." And she did, and she called and said, "Can we X-ray?" She goes, "I don't think it's a fracture, but we need to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a cruciate." Cruciate. I can't say that word, I'm sorry, but it's a ligament in your knee. And craziness, the dog that we had that passed away when she was young, it's usually an older dog problem, but she tore her cruciate ligament when she was 2, and a few months after her surgery for that, toward the other one, because and that's a whole story about some lady who let her dogs run loose, and she injured her other leg because of that. And I tend to have an opinion about people just opening their doors and letting their dogs go potty and run up and down the streets when I have my dog on a leash walking down the street, and therefore my dog is more vulnerable. But that's not this story. This story is he was most likely trying to get to a squirrel on the other side of the fence. Either he tore it running and making a quick turn back and forth, or there's the possibility that he tried to. I look funny back here. My face is like a weird shape. Um, that looks more like me. Um, or possibly he tried to climb over the fence to get to a squirrel, because I have myself witnessed that. Um, then, so they did an X-ray, and it was not a fracture, which you're probably thinking, well, that's good. No, it's not. No, you can fix a fracture easier than you can fix a torn ligament. And she believes he tore the two that hold it in the front. And when she showed us the abnormal movement it makes, not having those ligaments, we all went like, "Oh, that's not supposed to happen." So basically, the head of his femur, where in the head of, like, the bottom of his femur, I'm sorry, the head of the lower part of his femur and his lower leg bones where they meet in the knee are just kind of flopping in the wind back and forth. He still has the ones that go from side to side, but they don't keep it from. So when he stands and bears weight, the top sliding over the bottom, and it's useless to him. He can, and it's not that she said he's probably not in a lot of pain, especially since we gave him the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories right after. We hopefully will help prevent down the line. He will have arthritis. Don't you love those when I like zone out? Like, uh, I'm looking for a word. That's what's happening. It's like, you know, that sensation that a word is on the tip of your tongue and you like search your brain for it. That happens to me all day, every day. And sometimes I'm like, people must think I sound like an idiot. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. And like, I do. It's in there somewhere. I gotta find it. It's gotta actually, I take that back. It's more like a sensation of the word has to make its way to the parts that my mouth control my mouth. It's got to travel, and I'm waiting for it to arrive. That's kind of more like what's happening than I'm searching. It's there. It just hasn't come here yet. So it's a little different than, oh, what was that word? It's a little different than that. So anyway, that's beside the point too. So my dog has this torn ligament in his knee. We're going to give him 2 weeks of strict rest. Have you ever tried resting a dog, a young active dog? I went through this with the other dog. And the meds and see what's happening. He's probably going to need surgery. Because he is a smaller dog, he's not going to need the really invasive one that our bigger dog had. And it's really, the odds are really astronomical that we had 2 dogs with this problem. It's like our vet is like, you have the worst luck with animals. I mean, they know that when we come in and we say something's wrong, there's really something wrong, you know, cancer and strange sores in the mouth. I mean, anyway, and my affect is not really reflecting how I feel right now, and I'm going to explain that. It's expensive. Fortunately, this surgery my vet can do. A bigger dog would need a different surgery. Well, there's a whole story about the 2 different surgeries you can have for this problem. I prefer the one that he's probably going to have. There's another one where they put a metal in, they put some hardware in, and we had our dog, she had the hardware put in on one side, and then she had, what they do is they took these really thick rubbery suture thingies and wrapped them really tight to keep the joint in place, like made a fake ligament with this rubbery stuff. And so she had a different procedure on each knee, and the less invasive and the less expensive one in the long run was better for her. She maintained more flexibility. The one with the metal hardware, she was a big dog. She was a stocky dog. She carried a lot of weight on her. She was a Great Pyrenees. And as she aged, that one that had the hardware started to bend, and she didn't have any flexibility. So with that surgery, there's more urgency. With this one, it can be delayed. You can wait to see if rest is going to work. And I'm kind of like telling her, well, a lot of the things he does as a service dog, he gets on his hind legs to get my attention, to paw at me, to reach up and put his paws on me, to climb on. So I do need him, whatever is going to give him in the end, the most mobility and life out of that joint. And so that's what we're doing now. And I am, I'm not entirely, I'm detached a lot right now from my feelings about this, because I'm actually extremely disappointed, and not in my dog. I have been training him for so long to qualify as a service dog, and we succeeded, but we were going to do some more advanced stuff and really sharpen up our skills with a professional service dog trainer. And I had it all set up. They're 2 hours from me, so once a week we would go, and they would go with me to like a store and stuff and help me, because like I can't break him of wanting to sniff the pant legs of women, not men. I don't know what it is. And he knows that he's not supposed to do it, and he's trying, and he has this look on his face like, I can't help myself. And there's some things that we need to like really brushing up for him to be really sharp and on point, because there is in the service dog world, people tend to look down on owner trained animals. They don't believe an owner is capable of training their own dog, and they're kind of uppity. I'm sorry. I've been watching videos and stuff, and they're very uppity, and they're very into telling you how much they paid, how much it cost to, this is a $6,000 service dog. And I get it. It's a lot of money, and it is your lifeline, and they do help people live more independent lives. And I've gone just this day without him, and I feel the effects of him not being able to do what, and he is acting weird too. But I need him to look clean, sharp, so I don't get any hassles from anyone who tries to say he hasn't had formal training. And if you tell a dog trainer, well, I trained my dog to be my service dog, they're going to be the ones that look at you the worst. Like, yeah, everybody says that. It's just, not just everybody can take their dog into a store. That's true. Hold on. I'm going to spill this over my laptop. Cost more than cost more than my dog's surgery. So maybe I should pause and set this down. Okay. So we were going to go get this training. And I was really excited about it. We were ready to make our first appointment. I'd gotten approved for the credit. It was going to be $900 flat fee for 12 months of training and a free follow up in 1 year. And they specialize in some issues that he has had. That's a whole nother um, video um, with other dogs. Um, he's not a dog aggressive. It's I don't want to get into it right now because I'm trying to talk about something else. Um, but what I'm talking about is we as in the people who have mood disorders, we talk about our moods all the time. But we talk about our abnormal moods to our doctors and our therapists and our fellow mood altered peoples. And we forget to talk about normal moods and emotions. And I have a feeling that we tend to spend more time learning how to deal with abnormal, take my meds, go to bed on time, keep a routine, don't take drugs, and I won't be too high or too low. I won't be, thinking I'm the Pope or think I have super intellect is kind of where I go when I get too high. And, or, the opposite. What about when there are things that happen and you should have emotions and it's acceptable to have emotions? It's normal to have emotions. Emotions and moods are different. And even with moods, you can have a bad mood without it being depression. You can have a good mood without being manic. And I often have a hard time distinguishing between hypomania and normal because I think that I tend to tell myself that it's impossible to normally feel this good because life sucks. Like I've been doing the negative talk so long, I don't know what good normal is and hypomania because I'm suddenly feeling very creative. So I tend to go by my sleep. If I have a lot of creativity and productivity and I still go to bed and go to sleep, then that must have been my mood for that day. But if my head is still racing and I try to go to bed and I can't stop writing down ideas, well, then I know that's hypomania. But sometimes I have a little trouble distinguishing the two. And I just can't tell you how heavy these things are. I'm all red and hot in my face. Anyway, it just happens. It's like it's called a histamine rash. And then, so then these things happen in our lives that can, for example, this thing with my dog. Right now, I can only identify disappointment. But I am positive in there somewhere I'm feeling more than that, stronger feelings than that. But my brain tends to, unless it's like this major, I don't know, maybe not. Okay, so Like, some things can be so overwhelming that my brain knows to only let a little bit out at a time. So that if I felt it all at once, I wouldn't be able to function. Um, so I'm going to move this because I need more water. I don't know if everyone can do that or has experienced that, where maybe you're like, this horrible thing happened. Why am I not on the floor sobbing? And I think that some of us, our brain knows to let just a little bit out. Um, also, I wanted to, and I think that's like natural preservation. I'm pretty positive that tomorrow I'm going to be depressed. Not bipolar depressed, but life just punched me in the face again. Depressed. Why can't anything I do succeed? Depressed. I try so hard and I don't get the results. And life seems so much easier for other people. I have a feeling that's what I'm going to feel tomorrow. What do we do? We may not even know what to do with emotions that are true, real, happening. And that's my phone notification. Harry Potter. Can you tell that I'm a Harry Potter freak? I'm like, Harry Potter freak. I'm a lot of things freak. It's not just Harry Potter. It's Xena's over here. Once Upon a Time's over there. The Hunger Games over there. Star Trek. Throne. Game of Thrones. Anyway, so what do we do with those emotions? And I know that I have two built-in coping mechanisms. When I resigned from my job, and the whole thing with the harassment that I had to go through, and the realization that people I thought had my back or were my friend or we were on the same page, that they were literally plotting behind my back. And it was a very traumatic experience. And I found quickly an activity. I decided, well, I'm not going to work there, but I'm going to train dogs. I'm qualified. I can train dogs. I can. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just like poured everything into that. I got I got the business cards and little magnet advertising to put in my car and t-shirts made. I made my how I want to do and not the shelter, how I like to train dogs, and got my handbooks ready. I got everything ready. And at first I got some jobs and then it kind of dried up. And the vet said that she thinks it's because of the economy, right? Unsure. People are unsure. She said people have been calling to cancel surgeries for her. But But anyway, it did not go as I had expected, but it was making me really anxious, the whole idea. So I'm glad it flopped, but it was something I was channeling that energy into something positive. Um, I was getting up and I was working on it like I was going to a job. And I got it all, I did it. As far as I'm concerned, in a normal mood or higher, I was successful in that. I got everything together. I had it together. It wasn't like some random manic, and I have done that idea, and I was totally unqualified for it and thought I could do, it was just not my fault that people are not spending money on certain things right now. Um, but I did tell the vet that they can give out if people are want just like their dogs walked. I don't have to have the money. Just a little spending money and to help people. I like helping people. I was a nurse before I was at the shelter. And I like taking good care of my patients. I, so channeling, and and that's the word I would use for that, is taking negative energy and turning around, just pivoting, not really turning around, just pivoting to something else and pour that energy, just channel it into that. It can be cleaning, something you can see the results of, you know, a clean room or a new garden, um, just anything. Um, Find, like let some seniors in your community know that if they need something, you can pick it up and set it down on their porch or whatever. There are things you can do to, it's always good to, when you're channeling, if you can, if to help other people. If that's not your bag and you want to stay to yourself, work on your channel it into your environment. If you want to learn about something you can't afford going to college, I mean, who can? Self teach. um and give yourself assignments, which I'm weird, I do that. A little weird. Okay, I'll write an essay about this book that I just read. Nobody's gonna see it, but you know, I mix in some good um, classic literature with my fantasy novels. They're pretty much for easy reading, except for Game of Thrones, that series. That's not easy reading. Um, it was actually difficult for me to keep track of things in those books. And I will be really ticked off at that if that Martin guy kicks the bucket before he finishes the books. Because I'll feel like I will have read the first 4 for nothing. Anyway, channel whatever is your thing. If you don't have any things, try some stuff out. Volunteer to clean up part of the highway. I don't know, whatever. Go to your state park and look at the hiking trails, and I'm going to hike each one of these trails this fall, you know, whatever. Just set yourself an assignment and do it and focus on that, because when you come out the other side, those emotions that gave you that energy are going to be dampened and dulled, and they aren't going to feel as hurtful or extreme. That has been my experience. And it worked really well for me this year. The other thing I do, and I call this more like funneling. And funneling to me is, I mean, you have a funnel and you pour a bunch of emotions in there, and they sort of condense and come out this end in one stream. I consider what I'm doing right now to this camera funneling. Writing in a journal, I consider that funneling. You could also call it venting. As venting seems a little more negative, but I do vent. I'm a big venter, and it has gotten me into some trouble when I haven't been explicit with someone and I say, okay, I am venting. I need to vent. People don't. I can hear someone vent, and then they say, okay, I'm done, and erase it. But not everybody can do that. You could funnel those, when we're talking about real emotions of real events, you can funnel them into drawing, painting. It's more of a creative outlet for me. I do like words, so I usually write in a journal, especially when I'm extremely emotional. And to me, talking to the screen is almost identical to journaling. I use the same verbiage, words and stuff that I do in my journal, but it's completely different than how I talk to someone in person. I'm a little more creative with language when I'm talking here than when I'm just having a regular conversation. But is it conceited of me to say that when I talk to most people, I dumb down what I say, what words I use, and what I say? When I talk to my mother, we will have likely read the same books and stuff. We have a very similar. We talk a lot, and vocabulary. She has a better one than I do, but I am in love with words. I just love words. I just love the idea that you can put these letters together and you have a word and it has meaning. It means something. And then you put these words together. I think it's language really more that I enjoy. But language is more than words. I'm just a lover of words. Language can be art, it can be music, it can be just anything that allows you to express yourself. Gardening, getting a VW bus and painting it psychedelic colors. I mean, Um, that's a language I consider communication. Um, and I don't have a whole lot of viewers, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I cannot stand listening to Trump talk. He has no words, as they say. I I'm pretty sure that if I were to speak to him in person, it would be like this. Oop, I hit my ears. I He's thick. Um and and it hurts me to hear the language being tortured and twisted and dirtied. He's like tiniest vocabulary. It's just insane. And so I'm going to be more attracted to a candidate that uses more language, and I could like speak with on a level. And I don't know why I'm getting the politics here, but it was going to come up. So I guess we're talking about feelings, and I feel very strongly about this. I definitely supported Clinton because I don't know. I felt she could use words. So to me, I mean, and I'm good in a meaningful way. There is a power in being able to use words or language, to use language to get your message conveyed. And for me, it's words. For you, it might be something else. For someone, it might be music. For, um, you know, I don't know anybody who's recent. So, you know, I listen to Lorena McKinnon. Okay, so we're talking Enya like stuff. Maybe better, though. A little more variation and stuff. But anyway, I like Enya too. I like all kinds of music. But I think she uses so many different instruments and puts them together. She's a composer. She plays many different instruments, and she travels and she takes the culture and makes this awesome sounding music to it with all these different aspects from different places. And I mean, I counted once on this one song, there's like 25 different instruments being played on it. um I'm fascinated by her stuff. So for her would be music. So whether it be funneling or channeling, could be either. I think they're a little different to me though. Um so those are, I think that the slowing down, like only letting so much out, like I said, my brain does, and what I think it's doing right now. I'm a little detached to really how I'm feeling, and I'll probably feel it more tomorrow. I think that is a survival instinct and something that I'm not controlling. My brain's doing it on its own. I have been slammed, with emotion, an event that was very emotional, which, um, but at this time it feels a little bit like my brain's just like, you're gonna be so super disappointed. I can't let you feel that much at once. When it's a slam, it then that's when you have to take action to channel or funnel whatever word you want to use for it. But that energy that's making you feel angry or miserable or high for that matter, I mean, it's like being a pent up, it's like being a rat in a tiny cage when you're manic and you don't release any of that energy. So please find your language to express to the world how you're feeling. Um, Someone may never see it. Um, you may never share it. You may share it and nobody looks. I think that's more disappointing. But um, if I kind of vacillate between, gee, I wish I had more viewers, or on TikTok, I wish I had more likes. But then all of a sudden you get this one little spark. And where one person says your videos helped, and you're like, well, that's why I do them. One person, well, then more than one person. And so, anyway, you may be helping and not even know it. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, and you also feel better. Um, you might start something and find it's not your bag, and try something else. Um, your own little thing. We don't we don't have a lot of time on this earth, and we spend so much of it doing crappy things, showering, eating, driving to work, working. If you can get time to explore um, and invent anything in your world, no matter how small, you have to do it. Um, or you're just going to feel even more miserable. There's nothing worse than just not. I know that there are times where we can barely move, but this video was about the times where we're dealing with things that life is, obstacles and events that give us we should feel that way. That's normal, and we need to go through it. But you can channel it, you can funnel it, you can vent it. Um, just don't ignore it. Don't stamp it down. Say to somebody, I'm so, like right now, I'll just say to you, I'm so disappointed. I was looking so forward to moving ahead with my dog and seeing really how far we could take things with him helping me, and now I'm going to feel a little bit lost without his direction. He he the day revolves around him making sure I can do things. Um Going into stores and the social anxiety is going to be difficult without him. And my poor mom's going to have to go with me everywhere. But she can't because somebody's got to be here with him. And I'm going to have to, I mean, like, the alarm goes off. I hear it. I could get up and take the medication. I don't need him in between, but I do. because there are days where I'll even hear it and I'll be so down, I'll just be like, I don't care. I'm not getting up to take it because I just don't care. He will not stop leaving me alone until I get up and take the medicine. That's what I need from him. And he's going to get frustrated because he can't do his job. Because he's always looking. If he's not in the room, like if he's in another room, he comes in regularly and if he feels like I'm upset, he will make sure he stays with me. And all the stores and everybody know him now. They're going to wonder, why are you alone? Where's your dog? Where's Finn? I mean, the library, they love him. They getting me up in the morning. If I'm upset, if I'm irritable, he's not going to be able to break that out of me to disrupt that so I can realize what I'm doing. And so that's what I'm expressing my emotions. I'm disappointed. So, and hopefully I'm going to start making more brooms, and that's how I'm going to channel my negative energy into positive energy. I open an Etsy store. Someone may never buy my brooms, and that's okay with me because I won't mind keeping them. But I am telling you, this last one with the Gryffindor inspired, it even has a Gryffindor pin on it. It's pretty freaking awesome, and it took forever to make. It wasn't hard, it just took a long time because I hand stained the stupid stick. And but I'm gonna start on the next house. I'm gonna make all 4. I don't know if anybody's gonna buy any, but I don't mind keeping them. So, and I enjoy doing it, and I can do it all day and keep my mind off of how disappointed I am. So, who would have thunk? So I am done with this. If you just keep Finn in your thoughts, I do what I would really like someone. I know I mentioned this maybe that has kids to do a video about what it's like dealing with mood disorder and having children and what life is like with that, because I have the luxury of setting my own schedule and all of that, and I know a lot of people have kids and that's got to complicate things. And I would really like someone to make a video and send a link or something. That would be really cool. Because I can't speak to that. So I'm gonna go and get ready for bed. And I may need to, who knows, I may be making a lot of videos while I'm going through this. So, have a good day. Bye.